Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are so.
Welcome into Hyundai Sunday here at SunTrust Park. A hot and muggy afternoon here as we are just minutes away from first pitch in this series finale and rubber match between the Braves and the Marlins. Well, Atlanta's bats woke up last night as they exploded to an 8-1 win over the Marlins in Game 2 last night, powered by home runs from Freddie Freeman and Kurt Suzuki, and they will look to keep that going today as Julio Teheran takes the mound for Atlanta. He'll look to end this homestand out with a series win. We have Chip and Joe with first pitch. Game 3 and the series finale between the Braves and the Marlins is next.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
It's the Braves and Marlins, as Kelsey just said. Third final and rubber game of the series here on a hot, muggy afternoon at SunTrust Park. Braves hope to heat up in their finale here at home and win this series outright from this Marlins ball club. Before the Braves and Fish play, though, Joe, it's already been a very busy day for Alex Anthopoulos and the Braves front office.
Yeah, the Braves designated for assignment Jose Bautista. It was an experiment that I thought that was, you know, a good idea at the time. See if the veteran had anything left. It didn't work out for him or for the team right now, so he has been released, and Lucas Sims called up to add a little depth for the bullpen.
And Johan Camargo is going to be the Braves' third baseman for the time being, and he had a great game last night for Atlanta. The Braves need some more great games against the Marlins, Joe. The schedule toughens up after we finish with the Fish. How important is this game to finish up this homestand in the win column?
Well, this turns out to be a 5-game homestand because of the rain out with the Cubs, so this is a chance to win the homestand if they win today. And the record against 500 teams or better, 21-10. And under 500, not so good, 6 and 7. So that would put him at 500. But more importantly to me is getting off to the right foot on this next road trip. As you said, it does toughen up. The Braves have to go to Philadelphia, who's right on their heels in the National League East. And then they've got to go to Boston. And you know how well the Boston Red Sox have been playing. So win today, feel good about it. 2 in a row, head on the road where they've played great.
And hopefully Julio Teheran will continue to pitch great. He's the man on the mound for Atlanta today, looking for his 5th victory of the season. Julio has won, Joe, his last 3 outings in a row, and was very encouraged in his last start, a game that he said he didn't have his best stuff, but he and the Braves still able to win the game.
Well, agreed. He didn't, and it cost him a couple of home runs, but he still got the win. His last 6 starts, he's 4-0 with an outstanding ERA, a sub-200 average against him, and part of this leads to our 4 keys for pitching success today. Number 1, early innings. He has an ERA of 10 in the first inning and 2.03 thereafter. And the game at Chicago you referred to, all 4 runs he allowed came in the 2nd and 3rd innings. Hot streak. We just showed you how in the last 6 games he's 4-0. He's won 3 straight starts over his last 3 outings. So he is on a roll. He may not have had his best stuff in Chicago, but he got a W. And he's got to turn around a little bit what he's done against Miami in recent starts. His last 6 against them, dating back to last year, he's 1-4. He can do better than that today.
And there really shouldn't be any surprises for Julio or the Marlins. They've seen each other an awful lot. Julio's made 17 career starts against Miami, and he knows all about Martin Prado. Real Muto back in the lineup after getting the night off last night. Justin Bour is a power and base on balls threat. Castro, Anderson, Dietrich, Rojas, Brinson, and Wei-Yin Chen, the pitcher, hits ninth for Don Mattingly on his Toyota starting lineup card. This will be the last time the Braves see Miami until July 23rd and 24th. After the game, Atlanta heads to Philadelphia, where we'll face the Phillies for the last time, Joe, until September.
Crazy,
how about that?
Yeah. Just crazy within your own division.
But can't worry about the Phillies quite yet. They are, by the way, scheduled to start in St. Louis today. Aaron Nola's on the mound, but it is raining at Busch Stadium. And that is the only visit for Philadelphia to St. Louis. So hopefully the Cardinals will keep them there all day and all night while we get through with this one and get to Philadelphia first. So Martin Prado digs in. He's hitting 164 on the year. No homers, 3 RBIs for Martin. And Julio goes to work, and we are underway with a quick strike. .86 degrees. It feels a lot hotter than that. It's very sticky here at SunTrust Park. A gentle breeze is blowing toward right, and Julio, a little crossfire action, got that over. 0-2.
Three straight fastballs, like it.
What at 91 miles an hour. So Julio feeling loose as Tyler Flowers in harness behind the plate awaits the 1-2 pitch, and it's taken just a little low. Roberto Ortiz is the home plate umpire. Ed Hickox at first, Jerry Meals at second, Gabe Morales is the umpire at third base today. Julio on the extreme first base side of the pitching rubber goes to work, and a ground ball hit towards second. Ozzy's got it, and a ground ball out gets the game started. Prado's retired, 1 out. And that'll bring up JT Realmuto. Marlins have a pretty nice catching combo working with Realmuto, the #1 catcher. Brian Holiday, despite an 0 for 3 last night, knocked in a run, threw out a base stealer. So got the offensive catcher today. You had Holiday, the defensive worker, behind the plate last night.
That was his 7th straight caught stealing for Holiday.
7 in a row. Wow.
Yep.
That's a pretty nice ace in your pocket for Don Mattingly. First pitch swing by Realmuto, popped up right side. Freeman and Albies. It'll be Ozzy who says he's got it, and he does shoulder high. 2 out.
Well, you get a first pitch out from Real Muto, that's a bonus.
Might take more than one pitch to retire Bohr. I am really impressed at the, I don't know if you call it change in approach, but certainly, Joe, the change in results for Justin Bohr at the plate.
A lot more walks. He's really on a pace to double his walks from a year ago.
Last season he walked 43 times. He's already walked 30 times this year. And promptly takes ball one. That was the pitch that we saw a lot from Julio against the Cubs. He really had trouble dialing in the strike zone on the arm side of the strike zone. Oh, bell tie, a beauty.
Love this fastball. Establishing the fastball here in the first inning. As I told you, the inning that gives him the most trouble. You've got a great story to tell the fans about the first inning as the game goes on tonight. That relates to Tampa Bay.
We might be seeing another baseball revolution if they run off a winning streak. 2 balls and a strike. I'll tell it here. Kevin Cash. You know about the Rays using a bullpen game once through the rotation. Well, he decided to start his closer Sergio Romo yesterday to get the first 3 outs of the game against the Angels. That was Cozart, that was Trout and Pujols, I think, or maybe Upton. Point being, Romo came in, got the first 3 outs, then he brought his de facto starter in Yarborough, and he pitches a beauty. They win the game. And the thought process is, don't have your starting pitcher face that real tough part of the lineup one time. So maybe the closers will become openers.
And that Tampa Bay had some trouble in the first inning.
Right.
The starters do.
3-2 pitch, and Bohr takes a walk. First base runner for Miami. I loved your line, though. Yarborough credited with the first 8-inning save in Major League history. Of course, that strictly tongue-in-cheek. But he said, Kevin Cash said, we're going to start Romo again today.
That's funny.
So the first man to make back-to-back starts in a Major League game since Zach Greinke did it a couple of years ago when he was with Milwaukee. Greinke started a game through 3 or 4 pitches, got thrown out, and then came back the next day to start. So here's Starlin Castro, 1 on, 2 outs. Castro hitting .294. And he swings the first pitch. Thank you very much. Freddie Freeman behind the first base bag has it. Julio, no trouble in this first inning. Miami strands a runner. 2 outs on first pitches help the case. And the Braves are coming up. Miami retired in the top of the first inning. The Braves are coming up with a 27-17 record, a half-game lead over the Phillies in National League Eastern Division play. The Toyota starting lineup very similar to what we saw last night, with the exception of Tyler Flowers, who gets the start in the day game after the night game last night. And hopefully the Braves will feast on the man starting for Miami. Wei-Yin Chen has not enjoyed the transition to National League play.
No, he hasn't. He's a lefty, and right-handers are eating him up. 6 home runs allowed in 16 2/3 innings so far on the year. He started the year with some elbow trouble, as he did a couple of years ago. Out of Taiwan, 32 years old, 6 feet 195. Had some great success with the Red Sox. It hasn't translated to Miami.
And a check swing foul by Albies to the on-deck circle. Strike 1 from Wei-Yin Chen.
Really got to wait him out. He's low 90s, high 80s, low 90s with a lot of off-speed stuff, curveball, changeup, slider, and he'll use them in any count.
That ball had some bite to it. Tied up Albies. 0-2 the count. Well, he's pitching out of the Dan Straley mold. More walks than strikeouts. And as you mentioned, all those home runs. That is not a often successful combination, but he just got Albies to swing and miss on 3 pitches, and his fastball sneaky quick to start at 91 miles an hour.
That's a good start for him. Not resorting to any off speed yet. Braves are 11-2 in day games and outscoring their opponents by double, 87-43. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Acuna got a fastball and fouled it straight back. Last 14 games, Ronald has 9 hits and a 170 batting average. Looking for his first hit in this series. Acuna 0 for 7. There's something off speed. It caught a corner. 0-2. Chen is going to work on the extreme third base side of the pitching rubber. And he's working quickly. Acuna drives one toward the gap in shallow left center. Brinson's there, and Lewis puts it away for the second out. So 2 up, 2 down for Atlanta. Freddie Freeman, the batter. Freddie hit a long home run here last night. Some icing on the cake for the Braves, who won 8-1.
This guy's had some trouble in the first inning also. Early innings a problem for him. He's given up 14 total runs. 5 have come in the first inning, 8 in the third inning.
Chen pitched well against the Dodgers in his last game. No runs, 3 hits in 4 1/3 innings. Again, this guy was a terrific pitcher with the Orioles. He won 27 games in 2014 and 15 combined. He's won 8 games since putting on a Marlins uniform. 2 balls and a strike. And now with a 2-1 count, Miami modifies their shift. Martin Prado's the man that moves to the right side of the diamond. And Freddie takes outside, 3-1.
And as you pointed out, this shift has really bothered him against the Marlins this year. He's 10 for 22 with 4 homers. Outside breaking ball, inside breaking ball.
And a swing and a miss. Chen came back from a 3-1 count to strike out Freeman, his second strikeout in a scoreless first inning.
Sponsored by Sherwin-Williams. Your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
Braves are averaging over 31,000, almost 32,000 fans, in fact, per game here at SunTrust Park. They haven't had a lot of home dates, but another good crowd here on a warm, sunny Sunday afternoon for Game 3 of this Braves-Marlins series. Tehran and Chen with scoreless first innings. Now we go to the second. Brian Anderson will lead off for Miami. He's their starting right fielder. Joe, he's playing so well, they may rethink this thought of putting him back at third base someday.
I agree. He's certainly got the arm for right field. He's made some awkward turns on some deep fly balls, but he's athletic enough to correct them and make the catch.
Ryan and Derek Dietrich waits on deck. We're out before this series started, working with Freddie Gonzalez about some of those intricacies you talked about, not just turns, but doing something as simple as fielding a ground ball and then getting ready to make a throw back to the infield. Things that probably aren't second nature for him. How to play foul.
Well, it's kind of funny. An infielder's trying to field the ball right in front of him, right? Keep the ball centered in front of him as best he can. Outfielder, if you've got to charge and throw somebody out and you've got to field a ground ball, you field it totally differently. You're feeling it on the run as you're charging. You field it inside your foot, outside your foot. If you're a right-hander, do you field it with your left foot back, which I don't propose because it takes an extra step then to get rid of the ball. But those are things they got to work on if you're not a lifelong outfielder.
1 ball 2 strikes for Anderson, who has struck out only once against the Braves this year. And that missed high. 2 balls 2 strikes. Yeah, you're playing third base. You don't have to charge the ball too often. It's going to get to you a lot more quickly. But Anderson doing good work for the Marlins. As the 2-2 pitch just missed. Julio thought that was a strike.
Cross-fired across the plate. Apparently a little wide. Certainly could have rung that up.
Throw it there again and see if you get a swing and a miss. He did.
Good call.
First strikeout for Julio.
What fingers did you put down for that one?
I just guessed like I normally do. And Anderson guessed wrong. Bang, right where Tyler wanted it. And here's Dietrich. Dietrich 4 for 16 against the Braves. He's got 3 RBIs. Derek did not play last night. He started game 1 and went 0 for 3. Braves have a modified shift on for him. And Derek takes a strike. Got a couple of guys in this lineup that are pretty strikeout prone. Dietrich's one of them. He has struck out 40 times in 156 at bats. Lewis Brinson's the other man. He's their center fielder with 53. And foul back. Marlins have been outscored this year by 87 runs. This is their 46th game. And after they finish playing the Braves, they head to New York to face the Mets.
Bark in the Park Day.
It's almost a national holiday.
Almost.
It
really
gets right
is.
down to it.
Yep. Braves have a lot of spots for the dogs to go get water if needed, cool off. They've even got a swimming pool, I think, for them to get in.
And for a minute there, I thought you were saying Braves have a lot of dogs named Spot. On a Park in the Park day, which would have been.
You got in free.
Yeah, right.
For your name Spot.
There you go. The 2-2 pitch is high and a full count. Miguel Rojas is next. Scoreless second inning.
Good changeup. Good spot. Dietrich somehow got a piece of it. Tyler's got his stars and stripes working today.
Best fastball of the game for Tehran. That one at 92 and a good spot. There's a happy fan with a souvenir.
I hope that was part of the sound effects. It was what would happen at my house if the doorbell rang.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of barking.
Yes.
That was great.
3 balls, 2 strikes for Dietrich. And a swing and a miss. A sweeping slider got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tehran. 2 away.
Oh, nice back foot slider. Good call.
Julio's got weapons again, Joe, after a disappointing season here last year. He's not the same guy, and I mean that in the most complimentary of ways.
Chip, I don't think he's the same guy that started the season. He was pitching pretty well at the start, but nothing like he's pitching now. And really, since that skip start because of his shoulder, that really seemed to get him going, that rest.
And I think Anibal Sanchez has had a dramatic effect on the mental side of pitching for Julio.
It's a great point.
Very similar styles. Julio's not just rearing back and throwing, he's really pitching. And we've noticed it a couple of times after Julio's come out of the game. The first guy to sit right next to him has been Anibal Sanchez, who we believe is about to get ready to go out and start pitching again in rehab as he comes back from that hamstring problem. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A lot of times when we talk about a pitcher who's pitching instead of throwing, that means they're throwing more strikes. In our view, primarily. His first 3 starts of the year, he walked 3, 3, and 4. And then walked 3 again on his 4th start. He's only had 1 start since then where he's walked as many as 3, and that was against Chicago last time out.
A game that Julio said didn't have real good command or stuff, but well enough to win. And that hit him on the way by. Tough break with 2 strikes. Rojas is clipped by the pitch, and that'll bring up Lewis Brinson.
Well, Julio's never been shy about pitching inside, but that's not what he wanted to do 0-2 for sure.
So here's Brinson. As I mentioned, Brinson's a guy that will swing and miss. Hopefully that'll happen here in the 2nd inning. Brinson hitting 160. If you missed our game last night, Joe made an excellent point about Brinson, who is going to be a work in progress. #1 prospect. Hit over 330 for the Brewers at AAA last year. He's a hometown kid. Marlins aren't going anywhere this year. They're beginning their rebuild. What an opportunity for him to play every day, no matter the results at the plate. They just hope he can figure it out. He couldn't that time against Tehran, who works around the 2-strike hit by pitch, and the Braves come up. Still no score. bottom of the second inning. Nick Markakis is going to get things started for the Braves. Nick with 60 hits, tied for most in Major League Baseball. And he is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
And he's had a good series and a good homestand, but 4 for 8 against the Marlins in this series. 3 hits in the first game of the series. Staying hot, doesn't matter who the opponent is, home or road. He's hot in all cases. 341 coming into play today.
60 hits ties him with Mookie Betts and Manny Machado, who have 60 apiece for the Red Sox and the Orioles. We'll be seeing Mookie Betts and Boston next weekend at Fenway Park. So a pair of former Orioles squaring off here. Markakis versus Wei-Yin Chen, who was very impressive in an economical first inning. 13 pitches with 2 strikeouts.
Pretty good pitch. Tough to lay off, and he did. Also gives you a good idea how well Nick's seeing the ball right now.
Little ground ball hit toward first, and Ward will make the play. There's out number 1. And Tyler Flowers, the Braves catcher, is coming up. Tyler batting .281, a homer, 5 RBIs. How about the Dodgers last night? They swept a doubleheader from the Nationals.
Had to score late in the second game to do that. Off Doolittle.
Matt Kemp with a 2-run double provided the winning runs for the Dodgers. Kemp's having a great year, especially hitting with runners in scoring position for LA. And that victory, or those victories for the Dodgers, pushed Washington 3 games behind the Braves. And LA's winning again today. Washington got bad news today. Howie Kendrick tore his Achilles. He's going to have surgery tomorrow. He is out for the year.
Boy.
And he wore out the Braves. That's a real bad loss for Washington that has had him all year. Eaton's been hurt. Goodwin's been hurt. Matt Wieters on the DL.
Rendon was for a brief time.
Yeah.
And they still don't have Murphy back.
That's right. Microfracture surgery. He's still recovering. I like what you said about a week and a half ago. Any loss you can pile on Washington now is one you will be grateful to have in August and September.
Absolutely. The pitching's too good for them to wallow around all season long.
And Tyler takes another walk. Well, he's been doing that a lot. A couple of bases loaded walks for the Braves catcher. He's the first base runner today. And it's a 1-out pass in front of Ender Inciarte.
Boy, just when Chen got his numbers even, same number of strikeouts as walks, he walks a guy. Struck out 2 in the first inning to even it up at 11 and 11 and walk Tyler.
Ender's got a nice roll working. 14 hits in his last 10 games. And didn't get that one. Sneaky quick fastball fouled away. Strike 1.
He's had a good homestand. 5 for 13 with a homer.
Lifted toward left. But Dietrich is there and puts the squeeze on that. 2 outs. And here's Johan Camargo. If you missed the news earlier today, General Manager Alex Anthopoulos announced before the day began that Jose Bautista was released by the Braves. And Johan Camargo will get the first extended crack to be the everyday third baseman for the Braves. And this was really the plan going into spring training. Give Camargo a shot at third. But he got hurt. He had an oblique problem, a back problem, which sidelined him and cost him a couple of weeks in regular season play. And then there was a mad scramble by Atlanta to go out and fill that third base spot, which was done very capably and very well by Ryan Flaherty. At one point led the league in hitting. But you look at Camargo's numbers overall, Joe, they don't really jump out at you, but apparently there are some metrics involved that gave Anthopoulos and the front office reason to believe that Johan is going to be better than a .226 hitter. That's sharply hit. Nice play at short, and Flowers is forced.
Some of those metrics were bad luck. And just
like,
hit into some right there.
Just like that. We go to the third, still no score.
Everybody loves baseball, but you love baseball a little bit more when it is bark in the park. So up here on the Xfinity rooftop, all of these doggos are here today. They have like 10 pools over there where you can give your dog a bath. They can get in the water. They even have a red carpet area. Chip and Joe, I'm waiting for you guys to come down here for your photo shoot. They have the bowls everywhere for these pups. They all walk away with leashes. But like I said, there is nothing better. There's nothing better than doggos and some baseball up here. Bark in the Park rookie Mike Fultonevich's dog is the lead doggo today. It's great, guys. You can't ask for anything more.
Kelsey, what did I tell you about talking to dogs that have hats?
Hey, I just happened to bend down, and these ones were right here.
We'll have a discussion
Hey,
later.
you want me to... I'm sorry, Joe. This is impressive, though. I've never seen... I didn't know what you were talking about when you mentioned hats. I've never seen it.
Look how embarrassed that dog is.
His hair's covering his eyes. He's so ashamed.
Right. Poor thing.
I'm not so wild about the bow ties either, to be honest with you.
Better than hats.
Yeah. So they brought out the red carpet for the dogs as Chen chops to Camargo. And he's got it for the first out.
Pulling out all the stops. It's great. Nice looking group right there. I bet it's nice up there in the upper level.
Yeah.
In the shade, a little breeze.
That dog's going to town on some ice cream, I think. See him?
What a good owner.
Martin Prado, veteran move. On a hot, sticky day, he saunters to the plate, giving Chen a few extra moments to get back to the dugout and get comfortable. Martin bounced out to Ozzie Albies to start the game. Very impressed with Julio's fastball usage, its location, and its velocity. He's had a couple at 91 miles an hour, even bumped one up to 92. He's throwing them for strikes. And isn't it funny? This game is as old as it is. Fastball command's the name of the game. You throw your fastball for strikes, you can make good hitters swing just like Martin Prado did.
Most hitters will tell you they want the fastball. It's straight typically. So if you're locating it, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be able to square it up if you're putting it in a good spot.
Like that. I mean, that just shaved the outside corner, and Prado knew it.
Martin probably is surprised at how many fastballs he's gotten his first 2 at bats. This is another one. Bang, right there on the outer third. Beauty. Swung and missed at a slider, but that was a good 2-seam fastball that came back to the outer third. Well done.
That's a sequence too, and a great replay. Hitter knew it, catcher knew it before the umpire even said a word. Perfectly placed. Here's Real Muto. He swung at the first pitch, popped it up. So he's 0 for 1. Two balls, one strike. To short. Dansby's got it, and his throw to first is on the money, and Tehran has a perfect 1-2-3 third.
No hats on dogs.
No hats on dogs.
No hats on dogs.
No, no hats on dogs.
No.
Hats on dogs? I've never. Yeah, I guess. I love animals, so if you love your animal that much to put hats on your dog, I love it.
Well, 1 out of 7. I think that kind of spells it out right there. And even that one wasn't quite sure.
Well, you're still going to have to have a talk with him, aren't you?
Probably so. Look at that Dane. That's a beauty, isn't he?
See, it just doesn't look right.
How about that dog's name is Dork?
Well, I'll have to send Kelsey back up there to find out.
Could be.
No score. Dansby Swanson leads off for the Braves. He had a successful return to the lineup last night after missing a dozen games with the wrist problem. lay down a perfect bunt, part of the Braves' 4-run 5th inning, as Braves came back from a 1-0 deficit. Atlanta handed Jose Urena his 7th consecutive start with a loss. Sean Newcomb picked up the win. He's 5-1.
How many teams you think would like to have a pitcher that's 0-7? If they saw Urena pitch,
yeah,
they might have a different opinion, huh?
Well, how many times do we say he might be the best 0-3 pitcher?
Yeah.
Look, he is. I'm promising you the best 0-7 pitcher in the game.
No question. Well, a lot of teams would love to have him.
Cute foul by Swanson. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Dansby looked good last night. He didn't seem to be favoring anything. Put down a great safety squeeze. Made a couple of plays in the field. One on a hard hit ball to his backhand.
One-two pitch. And a swing and a miss. Chen's got 3 strikeouts. He had only 9 strikeouts in his first 4 starts.
Speaking of spotting your fastball, remember when we struck out Ozzie to start the game, he really buzzed him in on his hands with a couple of good pitches to get strikeouts, and that one was down and away to Dansby.
Julio's a good hitter. And takes a strike.
Don't you love this Sunday uniform?
Mm-hmm.
With the patch on the sleeve with the crossing tomahawks.
I love the home cream colored togs. Beautiful uniform.
Number on the front.
Downstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Julio puts it in play, but right at the shortstop. And Rojas, a perfect throw, 2 outs. If I'm not mistaken, the starting pitcher is the guy that picks the uniform he wants to wear that day. Unless there's a special occasion like Jackie Robinson Day or throwback uniform days. So Julio feeling comfortable on his home mound. Looks good in those colors for Atlanta today as he's the 2nd out. And we go back to the top in Ozzie Albies. I should say the starting pitcher in very close consultation with John Holland.
Yeah, road games especially, but sometimes that's dictated by the home team and what color they're wearing that night. And I thought this was just for Sundays. Am I wrong on that?
I think you're right. Braves used to wear those fire engine red uniforms at home. This a much more classic looking uniform choice as this one's popped into shallow right. Anderson's coming on and puts that away, and Chen has another 1-2-3 inning, the 2nd one of those he's turned in the first 3 this afternoon. Beautiful day here in Atlanta. Julio Teheran and Wei-Yin Chen are rolling. And we will be back in Atlanta on Monday, May 28th. A time-honored tradition. It's a doubleheader against the New York Mets. A split doubleheader. 1:10 and the special Memorial Day celebration. And then stick around for the 7:10 game and a post-game concert by Jason Isbell in the 400 unit presented by SunTrust. That's a big day.
What a day.
Here Monday. Tickets available. Go to suntrust.com. Tickets and get your seats today. Justin Bour leads off the fourth for the Marlins. No runs, no hits for either team. When's the last time we saw a major league game pitched where after 3 innings neither team had a hit?
Been a while.
Big shift on for Bour. Albies playing in shallow right. And he smokes that one to center. Ender on the run, still going back, and he can't get it. He slams into the wall, and he is down in a heap on the warning track. Bour around second. He's on his way to third. Ender is down on the warning track as he slammed into the wall. It's going to be a triple for Justin Bour to start the 4th inning, and Ender Inciarte still has not gotten up.
I hope he just got the breath knocked out of him, but he hit the wall hard after he jumped into it. He got a bad jump on this because it was hit low and hard and then almost caught it. But right here, he had nothing to brace himself against the wall when he hit it so hard. Oh, man, that looked like right shoulder. Oh, boy. Saw his head snap, too.
This is just a guess, but they're not only checking the outwardly physical condition of Ender, but as hard as he hit the wall with that head snapping back, I'm sure there's some concussion questions being asked.
You know it.
By Scott Frostberg, who's the Braves' assistant athletic trainer. And Brian Snitker made his way from the Braves dugout to see if the Braves Gold Glover is going to be able to continue. It'll be a leadoff triple for Bour. And frankly, the Braves fortunate that anybody but Bour wasn't running. Otherwise, that might have been an inside the park homer.
Yeah, it'd be 1-0.
As far as the ball ricocheted back toward the infield.
Watch his right shoulder hit so hard and then his head snap.
Ender's up on his feet and now walking around. He's gotten to the grass in the outfield. And Snitker's going to slowly walk back toward the dugout. It looks like Ender's going to try to stay in the game.
See how his right arm hit the wall? I mean, his arm was bent, and somehow when it hit, then everything else kept going right over the top of his forearm.
And I think I heard on that replay too, that sound. I think his feet hit underneath the wall too. Watch. Down in that unpadded part, his right foot.
Yeah.
He's lucky not to have turned an ankle or suffered worse like Juan Lagares did for the Mets.
Oh, yeah. Right into the base.
So he's going to stay in the game, and the Braves are real lucky that Ender wasn't seriously hurt on that drive to straightaway center. So it's a triple for Bour. Castro's going to be the hitter. He popped out on the first pitch. Braves trying to align their defense. Freddie Freeman motioning Camargo to play back a step or two at third base. So Teheran stretching and pitching, and it's a strike. 0-1.
And remember, we saw Bour at third base and nobody out. Was it last night?
Yeah.
And he didn't go on a ground ball to short. So the left side of the infield, keep an eye on him before you throw the ball to first. You might have a play at home.
And Julio just balked.
Dropped the ball. His foot was on the rubber. He was coming set, and before he could step off, if he was trying to step off, before that he dropped the ball.
So Miami takes the lead. A triple and a balk. Yep. So Castro hits with the bases empty now, and that's downstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Regroup if you're Julio. Try not to let that affect you on what would not have been a triple under normal circumstances, and certainly wouldn't have scored a run on the balk even.
And out of play into the seats to the right side. 1 and 2 for the Marlins second baseman. Well, we say it all the time. You know, you have to score at least 1 to win. Today the Braves have to score 2. If Julio can shut him down the rest of the way. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And hammered down the left field line and into the corner. Starlin Castro is going to have an extra base hit. So Julio back in the soup again after the triple, the balk, now a double, and Anderson's coming up with Miami up a run.
The 2 home runs hit off of him in Chicago, and you can see his reaction to this. We're on similar pitches to this, the slider that just hung up inside.
Now Anderson, the batter, he struck out back in the second. He'll try to get Castro to third at the very least here. Freddie Freeman way off the line at first base, trying to cut off that alleyway for the Marlins right fielder. Pitch. Strike 1. Good fastball upstairs. He's used that pitch a lot in his recent vintages as well, but getting it by at 88, 89 miles an hour.
Yeah.
92.
And winning the battle at the top of the strike zone with it too.
The 0-2 pitch. And up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-0 Miami. Bohr with a triple off the wall. Ender slammed into the fence. Was down for a few moments, but is still in the game. Julio balked Bohr home. Castro then doubled. Little fly ball into center, a base hit. Here comes Castro to third. Ender came up ready to strike. And he got to that ball cleanly, and it's 3 straight Miami hits, and they've got runners at the corners, nobody out. Anderson continues his impressive work at the plate.
Yeah, and Julio was ahead in the count on that one too. I was more interested in seeing how Ender was going to get to that ball and how well he was going to be able to throw it. Well, that was a good piece of hitting. That wasn't even a strike. Anderson fought it off, but Julio got to it in good shape, came up firing, made a good throw. That's a good sign.
Well, Dietrich the batter. Julio struck him out in the second. He would love a similar outcome right here. Dietrich didn't chase. 1 ball, no strikes. Now it's 2-0. First run, first 3 hits of the game belong to the Marlins. All of that's happened here in the 4th. Dietrich has been a nearly impossible man to walk. He has walked 4 times this year in 157 at bats.
And may be hacking away here. And because he's hard to walk, doesn't mean you have to throw him a fastball necessarily.
He was late. Full count.
I missed the target, but sure had a lot of late action on it.
So let's see what happens here. Would Anderson be running with a full count? Nobody out. Leo thought he might. If he does run, got to keep an eye on Castro, who's a sneaky base runner at third base. Full count pitch. Anderson leads at first. Not going, and it's lifted toward left. Acuna on the run, won't have a play. That's into the seats. Here comes another payoff. And Dietrich fought it away. Leo's pitch count piling up now. He's over 60.
Made a good pitch on Dietrich to strike him out last time on a back foot slider. That was after he had fouled off a pitch or 2. That might be a place to go. He'd love to get the strikeout. Throw to first instead.
Runners at the corners for Dietrich. The 3-2 again. He lost him, and the bases are loaded. And Chuck Hernandez is going to come out for a mental breather as much as a physical breather here with this long 4th inning.
Good pitch. A guy who doesn't walk laid off that pitch. That's some bad luck for Julio.
Julio's thrown 17 pitches here in the 4th inning. Has yet to retire a Miami hitter. And he's got Rojas coming up with the bases loaded. Rojas was clipped by a 1-2 pitch in his first trip to the plate today. Marlins won, Atlanta nothing. This will be the 39th at bat for a Miami hitter with the bases loaded this year. They're hitting 158 as a team with a runner at every base.
Well, that hurts. Ball club trying to score runs, trying to get a few wins, give their pitchers a little room.
Chen leads by 1. 3 on, none out. Line drive into center field, a base hit. And it's 2-0 Marlins. Rojas jumped on a first pitch. Castro scores. Ball was hit so sharply, no chance for Anderson to try to come around, so Miami plays it station to station. A big hit for Rojas gives him his 17th RBI.
He's been a tough out for the Braves, and even when he's made outs, he's put the ball in play, doesn't strike out a lot. Wasted no time, as you said.
So here's Brinson. Then you've got the pitcher. Chance to get out of this. With a strikeout prone Brinson and the pitcher coming up. Chen's pitching so far. You don't want to give him too big a lead. This will be the 20th pitch of the inning. Again, nobody out. Swing and a drive hammered down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is a mammoth grand slam home run for Lewis Brinson. And the Marlins have hit for the cycle in the 4th inning.
Fastball, letter high. My goodness, did he get through on that?
That's what the Marlins traded for.
Yeah, he threw the head out on that one. Did it skip off the pole?
No, it cleared it.
It did?
Yeah. So a triple, a double, a single, a walk, a single, and the first grand slam for Brinson in his career, and the first Marlins grand slam this year, has made it 6-0. Lucas Sims just called up today, is getting busy in the bullpen. And there's the first out of the inning. And back to the top we go, and Martin Prado. Won't know till after the game what affected Julio in this 4th. Was it the hard hit ball by Bohr? Was it the frustration of dropping the ball for the balk? Or was it this barrage of base hits?
There's a little bit of a delay there too while they were treating Inciarte.
So 6 runs on 5 hits. And served out of play, strike 1. This has been a very long defensive inning for the Braves. We're told they've been out in the field on this sticky Sunday for approximately 19 minutes. And there's still only 1 out. Little number. That's on the grass. Julio fields with a bare hand with Camargo standing right next to him. He can't handle cleanly, and Prado's aboard with an infield hit. Nothing going right for Julio in this fourth.
Neither one of them going to throw him out. Even if you'd let Camargo have a crack at it, I don't even think Johan would have thrown the ball. Sixth hit of the inning.
So the Miami catcher Real Muto bats in the fourth inning, the ninth man to hit. That's to third. Great stop from his knees. Camargo with a laser to first. What a gorgeous play. That's state of the art at the hot corner by Camargo.
He turned in a beauty last night to end the ball game at third base. This is going to save an extra base hit and turn it into an out. From his knees, a nice one hopper.
So Real Muto the second out. The Braves will walk Bohr intentionally, and Starlin Castro is going to come up. He doubled with the bases empty and a run in earlier in the inning. Six runs, 6 hits for the Marlins. In the Braves half of this inning, Acuna, Freeman, and Markakis are coming up. Maybe Chen will be so rested he'll be out of rhythm when he comes back to pitch. Well over 20-minute long half inning for the Miami offense.
.93. Maybe a little anger in that one.
Popped up into right. Long run Albies. He says he's got it, and he makes the basket catch. 11 men come to the plate for the Marlins in the fourth. 6 of them score.
scary moment earlier where Ender Inciarte slid into the center field wall off to Justin Bour triple. Well, after that inning ended, Justin Bour came up, checked on Ender Inciarte. He said he was good. He walked into the dugout. He did walk down into the tunnel with the training staff. I don't necessarily think that means he's leaving the game, guys. I think they just wanted to do some more testing on him to make sure that everything is for sure good to go.
Yeah, it was quite a collision, Kelsey, and good to see Ender able to walk off under his own power. And hopefully the Braves will put together a long enough rally to see him come up here in the 4th inning. Down 6-0. Ronald Acuna leads off against Wei-Yin Chen. We'll see how sharp he is after a 23-24 minute long half inning.
Got to get going, get the offense going, pick up Julio. Certainly time to do that.
Generous strike called there. Two balls, two strikes. And that one caught the corner, I suppose. Acuna rung up. That's 4 strikeouts for Chen.
And you're telling me Acuna is no longer the youngest player in the big leagues?
No, the Washington Nationals called up Juan Soto today. Now that Howie Kendrick is lost for the year, Soto, a 19-year-old player who made the jump from A-ball to Double-A this year, where he had 30 some odd at bats for the Nationals Double-A affiliate, and they called him up today. '19 and in the major leagues. Ground ball up the middle, and there's the first Braves hit. Freddie Freeman guides one into shallow center, and there's the start for Atlanta with 1 out.
Breaking ball, took a little off, and Freddie, who had a little trouble with that pitch first time around, ready for it, got a base hit. Hopefully that'll lead to something, maybe a big inning.
Nick Markakis bounced out to Bour, leading off the Braves second. Nick with 60 hits has the highest batting average against left-handed pitchers as a left-hand hitter of anybody in baseball. Nick enters action today hitting .361 against lefties, which is what makes this combination of Freeman and Markakis so fun and exciting to watch. You know, they hit righties, but they wear out the lefties too. Fly ball center. Not much carry to it. Brinson is there to make the play. 2 outs. Told you last night that the reputation of SunTrust Park was well earned in the early days of last season. This place was an airport. Ball was just flying out with terrifying regularity for the pitchers. That has changed dramatically. There have been only 31 home runs hit in this ballpark. And entering last night's action, SunTrust Park was the least homer-friendly ballpark in baseball. Some of that has to do with how good Atlanta's pitching has been. But still, Joe, what a dramatic change for.
Is that on a per game average, or is that a total?
Average number of home runs per game.
Okay.
SunTrust Park entering yesterday was at 1.56 home runs combined per game played.
That is a real big surprise.
And a very pleasant surprise for the Marlins today, the way Wei-Yin Chen is pitching. This is what they envisioned when they signed him to that big contract. His pitching in Brinson's blast. Why Miami's up 6-zip. Thank you very much. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Real Muto had a couple of guys headed to the dugout. He was ready to throw down, and I don't blame him.
Let's see if he goes there again. With Freeman at first, the pitch. That was a strike to Acuna, but not for Flowers. 2-2.
Rookie umpire.
Breaking ball, little pop. Brinson froze. Now with great closing speed, tracks it down, and that retires the side. Atlanta got their first hit, but still trail the Marlins 6-0 after 4. We got a few folks poolside at the Omni Hotel right outside the fences here at SunTrust Park, part of the beautiful Battery of Atlanta complex. And there's a live look at the pool and the ballpark from our Xfinity cam, perched high above the Comcast building in right field.
Well, you can see in that picture people have kind of migrated to the shade down the left field line. One of the warmest days of the summer, or spring, I guess, all year, huh?
What spring?
Yeah.
Not that we're complaining after the bitterly cold weather in March and April. As Brian Anderson pokes one toward left, Acuna's on the run. Look at his speed. Great running catch by Acuna. And Anderson's retired for out number 1.
You really like seeing that. I know Ronald's having a tough time at the plate lately, as long as it doesn't affect his play in the field, and he ran a long way to get that one.
So Julio gets the first out of the 5th inning. Here's Derek Dietrich. Brought to the plate with absolutely horrific walk-up music. The Georgia Tech star has struck out, walked, and scored.
Makes you cringe, doesn't it?
That's like, that song for me is like Dogs with Hats for You.
Uh-huh. Well, Arbuckle Jenkins in our truck, I'm told, was dancing a little jig down there in the truck.
So you're saying he was jiggling?
Something like that. He's trying to river dance. There's just not quite enough room.
1-2 pitch. And Dietrich, you know, not afraid to get hit by a pitch. He froze as that ball started boring in under his hands, and it barely missed him. 2-2. Got jammed. Little pop. Can anybody catch up to it? Great try by Camargo. And Acuna fires back toward first, and Dietrich with a long bloop single is aboard with one out.
Good pitch down and in, and expect him to try to pull it, and he fought it off instead. And great try by Johan.
So that's the 7th Miami hit. Here's Rojas. He's been hit by a pitch. He's singled and he has scored. As Joe said, he's been a tough out. Rojas 7 for 20 against the Braves this year. And a strike.
Started him with something other than a fastball this time.
At this point, Joe, every out, every inning Julio can give the Braves is one they will value highly going on this two-city road trip coming up. These will be high pressure packed, exciting head-to-head matchups with two excellent teams. The Phillies first, starting tomorrow, and after a day off on Thursday, a weekend series with the Red Sox. And then don't forget, the Braves have to come right back home after that Sunday game and have a day-night doubleheader with the Mets. Oh, 2 pitch is lifted to the right side and headed for the seats foul.
Now the Phillies are 4th in the league in runs scored. They are 4th in RBIs, and they are 4th in on base percentage. So a very good hitting ball club, as we have already seen.
And they play great at home too, if memory serves. They are 16-6 at the Bank Vault.
Boston 1st in the American League in average and runs scored. Total bases, doubles, 2nd in homers. Another great hitting team.
That's going to be a fun matchup of Mookie Betts for Boston and Ozzie Albies for the Braves. Two electric leadoff men. But can't worry about that series yet. Have to find a way to come back against the Marlins here in the top of the 5th. Rojas down 2 strikes. Dietrich at first. Driven toward right. Markakis is going to run out of real estate. They are underway in St. Louis after a rainy morning at Busch Stadium. No score in the 3rd inning. Phillies nothing, Cardinals nothing. Braves want the Cardinals to win that game. They also want Aaron Nola to throw a lot of pitches, so we don't have to worry about facing him in the upcoming series.
Yeah, right now it's scheduled to be Pivetta, Vince Velasquez, and Jake Arrieta.
Get our first look at Arrieta in a Phillies uniform. That'll be on Wednesday night. The 0-2 pitch, and Rojas got smoked. So Julio hit him with a 1-2 pitch in the 2nd inning. He nails him with an 0-2 pitch here in the 5th.
Slider. Oh boy, right back of the leg. That'll leave a mark. Help him out, Freddie. Right there. Does that hurt?
Now you're supposed to take your index finger and point to the spot, right?
Right. Put your thumb on it.
Here's Brinson. A grand slam for Brinson. First of his career. And the first for the Marlins. And Julio had a long look in at Brinson after he took a very aggressive swing at that first pitch.
Yes, he did. A little bit of a glare, you might say.
Hit towards second. Flip to second for one. That was beautifully played by Albies. Dietrich was frozen. Rojas was frozen. Brinson's doubled up. And that ends the Marlins' 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Time for the Braves bats to go to work. It's 6-0 Fish.
Presented by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers.
Well, right now, Braves fans are feeling a little blue. On a beautiful Sunday, Miami's got a 6-0 lead. All that action happening in the 4th inning. The big blow, a Lewis Brinson grand slam versus Julio Teheran. Braves are hoping to rally here in the 5th inning. Ender Inciarte will lead off his first at bat after slamming into the wall trying to catch Justin Bour's leadoff triple drive off the center field fence. Is that the kind of play, Joe, that Ender might feel a little more tomorrow than he does right now in the heat of this game?
Absolutely. But as this game goes on, fortunately it's warm temperatures, it'll help. But I think you saw right there something. The first swing, he was a little out front, kind of one-handed it gingerly. Then he tries to bunt. I'm wondering if that first swing hurt a little bit.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Ender's down swinging. 5 strikeouts for Chen. And he is rolling merrily along here in Atlanta. A team against which he's 1-1 with a 2.93 ERA. He's never given up a homer to the Braves. He's been tough.
This is a gigantic improvement over his previous road starts.
So here's Camargo. Johan bounced into a 6-4 force play.
He hit a rope into a 6-4 force play.
Down the right field line, out of play. Take me into the mind of Johan Camargo.
I just felt like, I mean, looking back, that maybe when he had that window to play shortstop, maybe he was putting too much pressure on himself. I mean, that's his natural position, and maybe he wanted to say, hey, you know what? I can do this. I can be the guy at shortstop, and maybe he was just trying to do too much. Comes back to third base last night, gets 2 hits and a walk, makes a brilliant play last night, another one today, and hit the ball hard. Maybe he's just a little more relaxed at this spot.
And hearing your general manager say he's our everyday third baseman.
Yes.
That has to take some of that pressure away.
Sure.
Obviously you still have to perform, but at least for now the job's his.
Yeah, switch hitter, can play every day, or they can work Flaherty in there whenever they think there might be somebody that Ryan can pick on.
Dansby Swanson, the batter, and takes a strike. Charlie Culberson grabs a bat. He'll pinch hit for Julio if Dansby can reach with 2 outs. Dansby looks like he's using a different colored bat tonight or today than he did last night. Remember, he said he was making the switch to the axe handled bat.
Definitely a different color.
Let's take a peek and see if it's one of those new models. Popped foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yep. Good take there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. All Marlins in game 3. Little pop right side. Bohr slowing. And he's to the edge of the grass and makes the play. And Chen is through 5 innings with a shutout, 1 hit bid. 6-0 Marlins. We are celebrating Military Appreciation Month here at SunTrust Park, and that is a native of Marietta, Georgia, Army specialist and Vietnam veteran Thomas Lloyd Foster getting the standing ovation salute and the parade route around the warning track. Wonderful gesture by the Braves and their fans to celebrate Mr. Foster's remarkable work.
Yeah, it's great what the way they salute him too, reading all their accomplishments off and their bravery, merits of bravery, and fans being able to honor that.
So the day is done for Julio Teheran. 5 innings of 7 hits, 6-run ball. And Peter Moylan will come in, work an inning, and then be pinch hit for when the Braves come up in the bottom of this inning. Peter's got the pitcher starting off, Chen, who takes the ball inside. Peter looked good the other night after a long rest. He threw a scoreless inning with a walk and a strikeout. Yeah, Julio had pretty much every stat line taken care of in the pitching line today, as Chen was headed to the dugout even before that pitch hit the catcher's glove. Moylan strikes out the first batter he faces. 93 pitches for Julio in 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 2 hit batsmen, a homer, and a balk. And Julio's next assignment will be, we presume, against the Red Sox. But we'll see.
And hope it's just not a bad outing blip, but just a 1-inning blip.
Yeah, right. He was a different guy after Bohr hit that ball off the wall and then the balk. So here's Prado. Martin has an infield hit. And his bid for another is denied by Camargo. Another gorgeous play.
Goodness gracious. Pickett.
You know, there are players that are called utility infielders because they can play all those infield spots. I think it's safe to say what we've seen the last couple of days, third base may be his best infield spot.
He's got the reactions. He's certainly got the arm. Frustrating to a hitter.
So Prado retired by Camargo. Here's Real Muto. He's 0 for 3.
This guy had a Jeff Francoeur type high school career in Oklahoma City, Midwest City, Carl Albert High School. He won 2 state championships in baseball and 2 state championships in football, and was highly recruited to go play quarterback out of Carl Albert High School.
He's behind 2 strikes to Moylan here. And that just missed. Well, after the Marlins cleaned house, Real Muto was very vocal. He wasn't happy and in effect said, hey, if you can find a deal for me, I'd like to go somewhere where I can win.
As just talked about, he is a winner.
Yeah, right. And that's not, I don't think he was blasting the Marlins. I think he was saying, I want to go somewhere and win. Now, he may be the most valuable player on their team. They're going to have their socks knocked off to move Real Muto, one would think. Two-two pitch. But for the Marlins franchise, who for the last couple of years came so close to really turning things around with Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton, the horrible, tragic death of Jose Fernandez, I think, really messed him up as much as anything.
D. Gordon.
D. Gordon's gone. Three-two pitch. And Real Muto takes a walk after Moylan got ahead of him. And Peter will have to throw a few more pitches. Bohr's coming up. He's walked twice, tripled once, and scored. He's in danger of being shut out twice by the Marlins here in Atlanta in this series. Miami beat them 2-0 here on Friday night. Braves came back to win 8-1 last night. It's 6-0 Fish, with the Braves having 1 hit tonight, or today I should say.
How about this defensive alignment? Looks normal till you find Ozzie. Freddie's holding the runner on at first, and Ozzie truly is playing rover. He knows that as slow as Bohr is, anything hit that he might be able to get to by playing deeper, he can still throw him out.
And rover might be the most popular position on Park in the Park Day.
Oh, good one.
See? 2 balls and a strike. Our friends at Delaware North took care of us today with some great nachos here in the booth. But they're also taking care of the canine guests.
Yeah, leashless lab bites, dog treats. made from repurposed beer grains.
Another walk. Boers walked 3 times. I think that dog found some of the beer grains that aren't recycled.
Well, he's pretty cool, isn't he? That is nice. Both of them. Yeah, these are made from all natural ingredients, spent brewing grain, flour, peanut butter, and egg, in dog bites. And they are passing them out up there at the infinity level. And they're going fast.
We should try one.
There they are. Leashless lab. And of course, nachos.
One ball, no strikes. And a bouncing ball hit to third. Camargo's got it, and he just applied the tag. That was easy, as Real Muto ran into the third out of the inning. The bottom of the 6th inning, it's all Marlins. Talk all you want about the offense, but Wei-Yin Chen has come to town and has dazzled. Maybe his best start for the Marlins in years.
No doubt about that. 1 hit shutout through his first 5 innings. He came into this game with a road ERA of 16.71 and a .400 batting average against him on the road.
Well, he starts off the 6th with Charlie Culberson, who will pinch hit for Peter Moylan. Moylan with an inning, 2 walks, and a strikeout of the pitcher, and no runs allowed. The great beauty of a Major League Baseball game is any team can beat any other team on any given day. And while we have rightfully bragged about the difficulty of the Braves' early season schedule, the number of road games they played, the quality of teams that they have beaten, one confounding problem that has appeared in this series and from time to time in the early weeks this year is the Braves have been a .500 club against teams that are below .500. And so you hope that's something that is going to improve, and what Atlanta had hoped today and still could with a big comeback, win the series against Miami and then head into the real difficult next 4 series. Phillies, Boston, Mets, Nationals.
That was best case scenario. Going to take quite a comeback.
Broken bat pop right to Chen, and And he fields his position well, and Culberson's retired for the first out.
But see, that's what he's done today, is move his fastball around. That was 90 right in on his fists. He got Dansby to end the last inning to get him to reach for a fastball at 91 that was kind of dying off the plate. I actually thought it might have been a changeup, but it was a 91 fastball. So he's moved it around, he's kept the hitters honest, and he's mixed in that breaking ball with various speeds on the lefties.
And I thought, Joe, he announced his presence the very first 3 pitches of the game to Albies, who wasn't going to wait to get to 2 strikes. This ball smoked into center, and it's a long, loud base hit for Ozzie with 1 out. Second hit of the game for the Braves.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chip. The way he struck out Ozzie in the first inning was definitely a trendsetter in a way about how he was going to work today. Really, that's the first mistake right there he's made all day.
So here's Acuna. Ronald 9 for his last 55. And a swinging bunt. Prado's going to have to hurry. He can't do anything with it. Back-to-back hits, and now Freeman's coming up.
If there's one guy they don't want coming up for the rest of this game with men on base, it's Freddie Freeman. Don't watch, just run. Freddie Freeman's already hit 4 homers against the Marlins this year. And a big one here would cut the gap in half.
Chen has never given up a homer to the Braves. This would be a nice time for the first one. 2 on, 1 out. Markakis and Flowers to follow. And down and away, ball 1. The longest Chen has pitched in a game this year is 5 1/3 innings. That's where he is right now. Line drive headed for center. That's down for a hit. Here comes Ozzie around third. Brinson's throw is terrible up the line. All hands are safe. The Braves are on the board with 3 straight hits.
Elevated a fastball. He might be getting tired. And lucky that that wasn't hitting the gap to drive in 2.
So Freddie Freeman, our SunTrust confidence play. RBI number 35 for the Braves first baseman, and his 12th hit against the Marlins this year.
Pretty good work over the last couple of years for them, for him.
Three straight hits. Nick Markakis the batter. 6-1 game now. The pitch is letter high and called a strike. Action has begun at last in the Marlins bullpen. Chen's up to 75 pitches. 83 pitches his season high. That came against the Dodgers in his last start.
I believe that's Whitgren.
A pitcher's pitch. Not too sure. 0-2 the count. Braves do a lot of late offensive work. They'd love to tag a couple more on Chen before he leaves, before Whitgren and Barraclough and Ziegler come into play for Miami. No balls, 2 strikes. Fought that one off into the second deck. Nick has done such a good job this year of hitting with 2 strikes. He's done such a good job of hitting left-handed pitchers. You're almost surprised when he doesn't get a hit in spots like this. Good speed aboard for Atlanta. Acuna the lead runner at second base. Chen still throwing hard. It sounds a lot harder than 91.
It does, and because he hides his pitches so well, it's sneaky quick. That one was a tough one to lay off, and Nick was able to somehow.
Good at bat for Markakis. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This must be a frustrating man for Chen to face in this spot. You know how difficult it is for Markakis to be retired on strikes. He is the toughest man to strike out in the National League, once every 11.7 at bats. How about that take?
Woo.
I mean, that's 2 real good takes in this at bat.
I thought Ortiz was standing up to ring him up.
The 2-2 pitch. Now it's a full count.
Good at bat. Got it back to a hitter's count. Last thing Chen wants to do is load him up. Let's see what he goes to. I'm guessing one of his fastballs, but to which side of the plate?
Albies with a single up the middle. Acuna with an infield hit down the third base line. Freeman with a base hit scores a run. And now the runners lead with a payoff pitch coming from Markakis, who's grinding. Here it is. Bouncing ball. That's going to sneak through for a base hit. Here comes Acuna around to score. 1 and at bat by Markakis.
Beauty.
It's 6-2.
Fastball low, same one he took that might have been a strike 3 call any other time, but threaded it through that needle over on the right side for an RBI. And here comes Mattingly. No, yeah, it is.
So Chen matches his season high in innings pitched. He falls 1 shy of his season high in pitches, but appeared to run out of steam after the Braves touched him for 2 runs on 4 consecutive singles with 1 man out. Braves creeping back into the game. It's a 6-2 score. Fans watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, which allows you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for all the details. 2 runs on 4 consecutive one-out hits for the Braves in the 6th inning. Now they have to tangle with a tough hombre. Nick Whitgren is on for the 13th time.
This guy's got good stuff. He's 92 to 94 with a split finger pitch and a changeup. Throws across his body a little bit. That creates a little sinking action on his fastball. 4 straight hits for Atlanta to get within striking distance.
Right-handers are 2 for 22 against Whitgren. Tyler Flowers has been a very patient hitter for Atlanta. See if he can move Freeman up, as that one almost hit him. Braves have seen Whitgren twice this year. He's pitched an inning and a third of 1 hit relief with a walk and a strikeout. One of their more dependable relief pitchers. 2 on, 1 out, 2 in for the Braves. 1-0 pitch to Flowers is off the screen and out of play. Right-hand hitters are 0 for their last 14 against this guy. And Don Mattingly wants to put out the fire right here.
He'd like to get a ground ball. He might be able to if he's got his split finger pitch working today. Left that one up though.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ender Inciarte waits on deck. Miami got 6 runs in the 4th. The Braves have 2 in the 6th. And a swing and a miss. Whitgren retires the first batter he faced. He's 11 out of 13 in that category. And that's a big second out.
He's essentially doing for them what Dan Winkler's been doing for Atlanta against right-handed hitting and coming in, retiring the first guy. All those categories that are such a huge checklist for guys out of the bullpen.
Well, let's see how he does against a lefty now. Ender is 0 for 2. Remember, he slammed into the wall in that Marlins 4th. Line drive headed toward left, but it's right at Dietrich, who makes the play, and that retires the side. Braves creep back into the game. They're still down 4, 6-2 after 6. 6, it's 6-2 Miami. Wholesale changes for Atlanta. Charlie Culberson will stay in the game. He'll play left field. Moving from left field to center is Ronald Acuna Jr. Our first look at him in center pasture. Ender is out of the game. And Lucas Sims will come on and pitch. He's got Anderson, Dietrich, and Rojas coming up for Miami.
He was just recalled today for the 3rd time after Jose Bautista was released.
So Chen's in line to win the game, but it's now a 4-run Miami lead. Anderson has singled and scored. Again, Miami's runs all came in the 4th inning, and Sims is greeted rudely with a base hit. So Anderson, who celebrated his 25th birthday last night with a pair of singles, has 2 more hits today. He's now 8 for 26 against the Braves.
Lucas has made a couple of starts since he was last optioned out, and he's allowed only 1 earned run in each of those 2 starts. 6 2/3 against Charlotte, 5 innings against Columbus.
Can't give him any more as Derek Dietrich stands in. He has struck out, walked, scored, and singled. Mets lead Arizona 4-1. That game's in the 8th inning. Boy, Arizona just falling apart. A real bad May. Cubs 6, Reds 1. That's in the 8th inning. Dodgers lead the Nationals 3-2. Cardinals over the Phillies 2-1. That game in the 5th inning in St. Louis. 1-0 pitch. And a little nubber hit toward third. Second base, 1 stretch. Bad throw. The ball ricochets off the screen. Dietrich's going for 2. Freeman's throw into left field. Now Dietrich's going for third. Culberson backs up the play, and Dietrich all the way at third base with 1 out. That very easily could have been a double play. Instead, the Marlins get Dietrich to third base with 1 out.
They had Dietrich twice, once at first and once at second, with a decent throw. This is an unbelievable release here by Camargo, and with Ozzie playing well off the bag, he had a long way to go, and this throw just came out sideways. He just didn't have a hold of the baseball. Dietrich must have thought there was nobody there to go get the baseball. I wonder if he touched second.
Well, it's a fielder's choice. Dietrich reaches on the force play, takes second on Ozzie's error, and Freeman's charged with an error that got him to third base. So a double error on the play for Atlanta.
Sliding. Yeah. Hip hit it.
Now the infield creeps in for Rojas, who's down a strike to Sims. High fly ball hammered deep toward left field. Nobody's getting that one. It's a long home run off the facade of the second deck by Miguel Rojas. And the Marlins build their lead back to 6 runs. It's 8-2. Six home runs for Rojas.
You know, that's kind of like the pitch Brinson hit. Something up and in and able to kind of get the hips open and get the barrel to it. Good swing.
You know how many home runs Rojas had in the major leagues before this year?
Not many.
4.
Huh.
He has 6 this year as Brinson pops one up on the first pitch. And there's the second out. So the momentum that Atlanta had offensively was short-lived. Rojas hits a 2-run homer in the 7th. And J.B. Shuck will get another pinch hit try. Good news is Whitgren's out of the game. Bad news is the Braves are down 8-2. One ball, one strike. Shuck pinch hit here last night, was retired on a ground ball to first, and he lines this one to the shortstop. So it's an Shuck series for JB here in Atlanta, but it hasn't been for Rojas. 2 more hits. He's reached base 4 times. His 2-run homer extends the Miami lead to 8-2 here in the middle of the 7th inning. Atlanta will have Camargo, Swanson, and Charlie Culberson coming up as Miami will delve ever deeper into their bullpen. Braves at 27-17 on the year, have a half-game lead over the Phillies. That's in jeopardy. They'll need some help from the Cardinals, barring a big comeback here in Atlanta. As we stand in the 7th inning, once again time for Timothy Miller to lead us in another stirring rendition of God Bless America here in Atlanta.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
The one and only Timothy Miller here in Atlanta. 8-2 Miami is your score. Time now for the stretch.
Thank you, Chip. This is the stretch. Jerome and BJ out here on the set, and we're going to take a look at the upcoming Phillies series. Need a little help from the Cardinals, who are up 2-1 on Philadelphia in the bottom of the 5th right now. If Atlanta wants to go into this up there in Philly, still in first place. The bad news in this series is that tomorrow we're going to start off with Nick Pivetta, who in his last outing has struck out 11 Orioles. The one before that, 7 Giants. So he's got 2 wins back-to-back and 18 strikeouts. He is on a roll, but the Braves have had the upper hand in this series so far, Brian. As you take a look at those numbers, they have really dominated, although Philly has started to turn it around a little bit the last couple of weeks.
Philadelphia has turned it on, and that man who just made that great catch, Adubu Herrera, who has turned it on for this Phillies team. And this is the team that signed Santana this offseason, and you know he's going to hit. But he hasn't even begun to hit yet, and these young guys are playing some great baseball, great pitching right now for those guys, and the hitters are starting to come around, Jerome.
Yeah, and they also signed Jake Arrieta in the offseason. We will see him on Wednesday, and so it's going to be a very interesting series, and Atlanta does go up there. So right now, with the lead of the division, although it's going to be a disappointing trip after today, unless they can make a big comeback, how much will that factor in the Monday after what's going on, what you see right now?
Well, I don't think it's going to factor because you're talking about 2 rival teams, and the past history, Philadelphia against the Braves have always been big. And now, you know, you're talking about 2 teams that unexpectedly at the top of this division. Nobody expects Philadelphia or the Braves to be this far advanced at this point. So both of these guys are having fun. They're young, and it's fun to watch. So they're going to be competing, but I think the Braves will still have the upper hand.
Well, Atlanta has won 2 out of every 3 they've played against Philly so far this season. Chip and Joe, let's hope that continues beginning tomorrow.
Good point, Jerome. Hopefully some good luck will start to happen now as J.B. Shuck checks into play left field. Dietrich is taken down, and it's Drew Steckenrider. Big reason his ERA is over 5 is because the Braves have absolutely crushed this guy.
Worn him out. His career against the Braves, 8 games. He's 0-2 with a 16.88 ERA. That's 5 1/3 innings, 10 runs. They have had his number. May 10th against the Braves, a third of an inning, 4 hits, 6 runs, all earned. 2 days later against Atlanta, he took a loss, a third of an inning, a hit, 2 runs, and 3 walks.
And if he starts walking people, Don Mattingly will chew right through his molars. He's got a 6-run lead. The Braves have 9 outs left. And Camargo gets things started. And way outside, ball 3.
This guy throws hard. He's just got to figure out where to throw it. Mid-90s fastball, the slider. And he's a local guy. Not a greater, is it Greater Atlanta Christian?
That's correct. Marlins relief corps has blown 5 saves this year. They have a 5.56 collective ERA. So Atlanta got Chen out of the game. They put 2 on him today, but still trail 8-2 after Rojas hit another home run. And there's a good start. Ball 4. Marlins bullpen this year coming into play today, it worked 50 fewer innings than their starters. They had walked only 23 fewer guys than their starting staff. So they will help you if you let them do it.
That was his 9th walk. 6 of them have been to Atlanta in now his 3rd appearance. And he's just getting started.
Braves played small ball very effectively yesterday. Dansby had a hand in that. Braves got 4 consecutive 6th inning hits with 1 out and plated their first 2 runs. See if the bottom of the order can feed the top, which was such a big part of the Braves' great offensive surge on our last road trip. And frankly, the trip before that as well. Swanson has struck out and popped out his 2nd game back from injury. And this one's popped up. Castro says he'll make the catch. And Dansby's out number 1. And Charlie Culberson will get a chance to hit against Drew Steckenrider.
I would guess for Dansby, from a timing issue, having been out, what, 13 games, the one area that's he's gonna have to adjust to is the timing on that fastball. That good fastball at 95. He's late on that one, and that's not an easy thing to do when you haven't been facing live pitching.
Sharply hit, deep short and through. Rojas couldn't get there. So Charlie Culberson smokes a base hit, and here come the Braves again. The bottom is feeding the top. 2 on, 1 out. Albies, Acuna, and Freeman lurking, and Steckenrider will get a visit from Realmuto.
Fastball right down the middle. In the moving around of the Braves defense last inning and Inciarte coming out of the ball game, I hope he's okay. For him to come out of a game is something notable.
Ozzie Albies singled and scored in the 6th inning. 2 on, 1 out. And that's taken upstairs. Ozzie with 17 multi-hit games. 41 runs now. That leads the National League. He's also 3rd in RBIs with 33. And Steckenrider can't throw strikes. 2-0.
Ozzie 1 for 2 off of him with a homer. And now another visit.
Well, Yogi Berra once famously said 90% of this game is half mental, which made perfect sense to Yogi. I wonder if the same thing applies to Steckenrider here facing the Braves. He's got good stuff, as you said, but for whatever reason, the Braves have just destroyed this poor kid.
They're in his head for sure. Add to that the pressure of wanting to pitch well at home in front of a lot of family and friends.
2-0 count. And now ball 3. And this is an ideal situation to bring him in. It's one of those so-called low leverage situations. 6-run lead, nobody on, clean inning. See if he can get back on the beam. Well, he's 1 pitch away from loading the bases for Acuna. Go! All bets are off now for Ozzie. 3-1 the count. Rojas playing behind Camargo at second base. The pitch. Ball 4. They're loaded. A walk, a single. A pop out sandwiched in between. Albies aboard with a free pass, and bases are loaded for Acuna. Again, the Braves have 8 outs left, and this has been one of the highest scoring teams in Major League Baseball from the 7th inning on.
After the Braves worked Steckenrider over down in Miami, he got a few days off to kind of regroup and worked against the Dodgers when LA came to town down there and blew a save. Although to me, that's not really a blown save if you're coming in relief in the 7th inning. An inning and 2/3, 3 hits and a run in that game.
First pitch swing by Acuna. Base hit's going to score 2. It's 8-4. Nobody up in their pen. And Freeman's coming up. Acuna had a blue pit or a bleeder hit his last time up. There's a solid shot to left. He's 2 for 4 and now is in double digits in RBIs.
There's that same pitch that those 2 guys for the Marlins have hit today and hit them hard up and in. It's funny how those little swinging bunt hits take all the pressure off and get you going again.
So the Braves now with 82 runs scored from the 7th inning or later, and they're not done yet. Freeman's got 2 singles in his last 2 trips. Freeman has 1 career hit against Steckenrider. It was a homer.
Again, it's the last guy they want to see come to the plate.
And now their bullpen has gotten to work again. Popped him up. Rojas drifts out, still backpedaling, and he'll make the grab for out number 2. Funny, that wasn't an infield fly.
Nope.
You just never know. 8-4. 2 outs for Markakis, who had a big league at bat his last time up. A well-earned RBI single to right that scored Ronald Acuna. Markakis against Steckenrider is 2 for 3. Eight, 4. Well, how about a walk and then Flowers hit a grand slam?
Or go back to back.
That would work. All this trouble started with the leadoff walk. Pickoff play and almost a bad throw. What a save by Rojas. Brinson was backing up the play, but he almost threw that into center field.
Rojas grabbing at his shoulder like it almost pulled it out of socket.
One 0 pitch. Go. Miami got 2 in the top half of the inning. The Braves have gotten them right back. Need a couple more here. Get a couple more guys on, you guarantee bringing Freeman to the plate in the 9th inning again. Which is never a bad idea. The 1-1 pitch is off the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Now Barraclough's getting ready. Little ground ball had him off stride, and Bohr will step on the bag, and that retires the side. Atlanta gets a couple of runs. A leadoff walk comes home to roost. Ronald Acuna with a 2 RBI single makes it 8-4 heading to the 8th.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
$28,352 fans are at the ballpark, not counting the canines, of course, on Bark in the Park Day. It's a 4-run Miami game after 7. It's a big inning for Lucas Sims. He's got the top of the order coming up. See if he can shut down Prado, Realmuto, and Bohr and get the Braves right back in the batter's box. Talk all the time when you lead how demoralizing those add-on runs are for you when you're the team trying to make the comeback. Had Miami not scored their 2, we'd have a 2-run game. And a little flare into center, and Acuna's first chance for Ender Inciarte out there is handled flawlessly. There's out number 1. If you missed it, Ender in the 4th inning went streaking to the center field wall trying to catch a drive off the bat of Justin Bour. He slammed into the fence, went down in a heap. The ball ricocheted back toward the infield, and by the time the Braves infielders could get to it, Bour was at third base. Ender stayed on the ground for a couple of moments, gathering himself, stayed in the game, had 3 at bats, and left after 6 innings. That's why Acuña's out there in center. No update medically on Ender. We hope he'll be okay with the big series beginning tomorrow against the Phillies.
Yeah, you're right about those add-on runs. When you fall behind by a sizable margin early and you're fighting to get back, the last thing you can afford to have happen is extra runs from the opponent.
That's into the crowd.
Especially when you've just gotten 2, put 2 on the board and can't shut them down.
Cardinals have extended their lead over the Phillies. That's 3-1 now. I believe that's the 6th inning in St. Louis. Dodgers 5-2 over Washington. And the Mets have swept Arizona 4-1. First home sweep of any team by the Mets in a couple years. And that one's hammered by Realmuto into the corner. That'll take one hop and bounce into the Marlins bullpen. And Realmuto with a 1-out double, his 6th 2-base hit of the year. And Bour will be walked. That's got to be a record for him. He's walked for the 4th time.
Four walks and a triple.
Justin Bour, the on-base percentage leader of the Miami Marlins, will be taken down for a pinch runner.
And he'll come out for Rivero. Rivera.
Well, good for Bour. Not just a slugger, very patient. Intentionally walked twice, unintentionally walked twice to go with that triple and run scored. So the double play in order if Atlanta can get Castro to get a ground ball to somebody. He's doubled and scored today. No balls and a strike. And Castro swung late. See if Lucas can put him away right here.
Good pitch. Didn't have to throw him a strike, but he spoiled it. We saw Castro chase some pitches like that last night.
And he was none too happy about it.
No.
One ball, 2 strikes again. Most runs in a game scored by the Marlins this year is 9. They did that April 17th against the Yankees. Their most hits is 14. They did that against the Braves down in Miami. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Castro didn't get it. Took a little off, and Starlin can't believe it. He's out number 2. Big second out.
That had a little late movement. Change up. That's why. But it was up, and he was frustrated that he didn't hit that mistake.
So here's a tough out. Anderson's 2 for 4 and almost got hit. By the way, one note on Bohr's 4-walk performance. 2 walks was the single season high for any Marlins player in a game played this year. And Bohr was the last man to walk twice in a game. He walked 4 times today. So 2-0 for Anderson. Cameron Maben's grabbed a bat. He's on deck. The pitcher's spot is next. High strike, 2-1. The 3-1 pitch. Fly ball hammered center. Acuna on the run to the track. Takes a peek at the wall, and he gets there right in front of the Braves bullpen. Oh boy, Anderson just missed. The Braves breathe a sigh of relief. They're down 4 with 5, 6, and 7 coming up. Enjoy a message from Advance Auto Parts.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Kyle Barraclough is going to be the next pitcher for Miami. As you see, Rivera stays in the game to play shortstop. Rojas moves from short over to first base. He's had a good game today at the plate.
He's had a good 2 series against Atlanta.
Hopefully,
with the bat and with the glove.
And hopefully Kyle Barraclough won't have a good day today.
Well, he's tough. He worked in the shutout win for the Marlins 2 nights ago and got 3 ground ball outs. It was a quick inning. Throws hard, heavy sinker, great ERA, and neither side, left or right, doing much with him.
Last 16 outings, a 1.13 ERA. That's 2 earned runs in 16 innings. No hits allowed in 15 of his 21 games. 17 of his 21 games have been scoreless. So, Braves have their work cut out for them. They're down 4. They have 6 outs to play with. Tyler Flowers, then the pitcher's spot. Then Johan Camargo. Preston Tucker's grabbed a bat. He waits on deck. Fly ball toward right center field, and Brinson covers a lot of territory, makes the catch. Tyler's out number 1.
Little breeze blowing left to right. I think that ball that was hit by Anderson last inning got knocked down just enough to allow Acuna to run under it.
So 1 away for Preston Tucker. He'll come on and pinch hit for Lucas Sims. Sims went 2 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, with a intentional walk and a strikeout. The Rojas homer. A tough blow for the Braves to absorb. Down 8-4. The pitch. Generous strike. 0-1. Cubs beat the Reds today 6-1 in Cincinnati. That game just went final. Cubs trying to keep pace with Milwaukee, which leads in the Central. By the way, talked about it last night. Keep an eye on the records in interleague play this year. The Braves have the distinct disadvantage this year of playing against the American League East, as do the Phillies, the Nationals, and Mets. As this one's banged into the shift. Rivera's got it, and his long throw almost pulled Rojas off the bag. 2 out. The American League Central does not have a single team above 500 at the start of play today, so you would think a distinct advantage for the Brewers, Pirates, Cubs, and Cardinals as they fight for a playoff spot. The National League East against the American League East has played 12 games. National League East has won 8 of them. The National League West is 8-7 against the American League West. The National League Central is an astounding 23-9 against those weaker American League teams. And so when you get down to August and September and you have 3 or 4 teams that may be separated by 4 games in the wild card standings, look no further than the interleague records to see where that difference might come from.
That's a crazy record. 23 and what?
9. That's a .718 winning percentage. So my advice is, if you win your division, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
If you don't win your division, try to be within a game or 2. Otherwise, you might be
left out.
And wondering what happened. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Camargo. Little tapper over the mound. And a quick release by Castro, and Barraclough continues his sparkling work in relief. A 1-2-3 8th inning. We go to the 9th. 8-4 Marlins in front.
ninth here at SunTrust Park. Atlanta could find itself still in first place when they touch down in Philadelphia later today to begin the big three-game series with the Phillies. Our Xfinity Game Break takes you to St. Louis, where Tyler O'Neill hits his second big league big fly and second in as many days. The Cardinals have added to their lead on top of Philadelphia. They are now up, Chip and Joe, by a score of 4-1 in the seventh.
And also, the Cardinals have allowed the Phillies 1 run on 1 hit in that game.
O'Neill's a big dude.
His dad is a former power lifter. I believe O'Neill's from Canada. We were talking about that last night. He has once half squatted over 500 pounds.
That's impressive.
So 2 homers in as many games for O'Neill. Cardinals celebrating their 1968 team this weekend in St. Louis. Bob Gibson's there. What a year he had for St. Louis that year. All he did, folks, is have an ERA of 1.12 for the year. One-0 pitch. And Minter got that call for an even count.
I have an LP record of the highlights of the I think it was a 68 team, might be 67, but I think it was a 68 team that played the Tigers in the World Series.
68 was the Cardinals, yeah. That was the year Denny McLain won 31 games for Detroit.
Well, this record was produced by, of course, had Harry and Jack Buck doing all the highlights, produced by one Skip Carey.
Really?
Yeah. And one line that I'll always remember when they were talking about the pennant race and coming down to the wire. Somebody hit a ground ball to Kenny Boyer at third and went between his legs, and your grandfather said, "Come on, Kenny, you gotta have those."
That sounds about right.
Yeah. They used to put out those highlight records for championship teams.
Well, you know, vinyl's coming back. Who knows? Maybe that'll be.
Yeah, I've got a nice jacket. I don't know if you've seen it.
Right. Get it from the network. Here's Rojas. He's been hit by a pitch twice. He's got an RBI single. He's got a 2-run homer, and he scored 2 runs. Talk about nice production, and he just unloaded again. Rojas has just hit a second homer. Braves might need to rethink the scouting report on Miguel Rojas.
Well, me too. Remember, I was talking about how it seemed like he was trying to hit everything to right field. I don't think so. He had 4 total homers in his career before this year. Is that right?
4 career before this year.
That looked like a cutter in too. Bang.
Well, SunTrust Park had been very stingy in home runs. Hasn't been stingy to the Marlins, who've equaled their season high in runs with 9. First career multi-homer game for Rojas. That stands to reason, with only 4 big league homers before this season.
First home run allowed by Minter.
No balls at a strike. You know, after that 1968 season, which was so overwhelmingly dominant, I think the year before in '67, and correct me on my history on this, I think the batting champion in the American League didn't hit 300.
They might have hit
or 301 or something really, really low. And with the overwhelming dominance of pitching in the late 60s, Major League Baseball did the radical thing to lower the mound, beginning with the 1969 campaign. That was one of just 2 profound changes. Divisional play started. 2 balls and a strike, and bounced out of play.
Carl Yastrzemski won the Triple Crown for the Red Sox in the American League in '67, and I think he hit like 301 or 304.
Yeah, I'll look that up. But I mean, think about that. You know, guys win the batting title now, they're hitting 320, 330. And these are great hitters that struggled to hit 300 back then. Broken bat pop. That's going to find some green grass. And Lewis Brinson's had himself quite a day. Breakout day for the bottom of the order for Miami. Rojas has knocked in 4 runs. Brinson's knocked in 4 runs. Well, when your 7 and 8 guys do that, you should win the game. And J.B. Shuck gets a chance to hit. There's a strike. You can see Shuck bailing out. (1968). You know who led the National League in hits? Swing and a miss. Felipe Alou and Pete Rose had 210. Alou played for the Braves in 2008. Excuse me, in 1968, beg your pardon. No balls, 2 strikes for Shuck. And he wanted no part of that at bat. Minter has his 2nd strikeout. And 2 away. Back to the top.
Cutter. But he was trying to find another batter's box to go to.
I don't blame him.
Yastrzemski won the Triple Crown with a 326 average.
326.
So stand corrected. 44 homers and tied with Killebrew with 121 RBIs.
Ground ball to short off the bat of Prado, and the throw to first is in time. Last chance for the Braves, who trail the Marlins 9-4 in the homestand wrap-up.
Dansby Swanson due up for the Braves, and you've heard Chip and Joe talking about his switch to the axe handle. He said this decision was made right when his wrist started to flare up, and the first time he ever used it was on Sunday when he took his first swings. Now, he said that it relieves a little bit of stress on that hand after he hurt the wrist, and it fits more naturally with the swing. And he says he uses Mizuno bats. They were easily able to take his model and just put the axe handle on the end of it. And I asked if Kurt Suzuki had anything to do with it, and he said Kurt Suzuki has been talking to him about it for a while, but they are different. So Kurt's is a little bit more flat. It's not as rounded at the bottom as Dansby's, but he said when he commits to it, he's going to get used to using it, but I think it's just very different for him to get used to, guys.
Yeah, anything like that, it doesn't look like much, Kelsey, but it's really drastic in the way it feels in your hand.
I've heard of hitters changing the weight of bats over the course of a season, especially in the warm and humid summer months. But I've never heard of a batter changing the handle of his bat like Dansby is. We'll see how he does with it.
I'm sure they still make a model that basically has no knob. It does just a little bit.
Right.
The Jackie Robinson model was a real fat handled bat, real fat, and had just a little bit of a knob at the base of that. But there was another one too that was not quite as fat as a Jackie Robinson model that might also be an alternative.
Brad Ziegler comes in and strikes out Dansby, who's 0 for 4 today. And there's the first out of the 9th inning. Miami on their way, leading 9-4. Ryan Flaherty's going to get a chance to hit. The bats have been few and far between for Ryan with the acquisition of Jose Bautista. He went a whole week between plate appearances for the Braves, and at one point led the league in hitting. But another versatile, valuable guy for Atlanta who can play anywhere on the infield and can play the corner outfield spots in a pinch if you needed him to, and can certainly pinch hit. 9-4 Miami. A 6-run fourth has told the tale in this one. So some unanswered questions for the Braves in this game. First and foremost, the health of Ender Inciarte.
Absolutely.
If for whatever reason he can't go, and again I'm not speculating that he won't against the Phillies, Braves feel very comfortable having Acuna play center. He's played there before. He played there a lot this spring. He can play all three outfield positions equally well.
Yeah, but you lose a valuable left-handed bat.
Right. That's taken low.
Just the way he hit the wall was so different than even for Ender. He kind of jumped into the wall and didn't have the time to brace himself.
It was almost like there were two separate collisions. He hit the wall and came to a sudden stop, and then I don't want to say concussed, but he was stunned after he hit the fence. Then he fell backwards and almost without it bracing himself hit the ground hard.
See how his elbow, see how his point of his elbow though hit the wall? You can see his shoulder come up from the point of contact with his right elbow. When it hits, then his shoulder moves really strong upward toward his head, and then his head kind of snapped. That's what scared me.
Just think if the walls weren't padded, how bad that could have been. Sharply hit and through. Flaherty took off with the pitch. Albies has a base hit. Atlanta has him first and third with one out. Two-hit game for Ozzie. One thing you got to respect about the Braves, they don't quit. This would be a remarkable comeback, but you know what? 8 years ago today, we thought the Braves were left for dead. Playing the Cincinnati Reds at Turner Field. Braves were down 9-3 in the 9th inning. Brooks Conrad came off the bench and hit a pinch hit grand slam. The Braves walked off 10-9. So
one of the great scenes in Turner Field history.
So we're not dead yet. Here's Acuna. 2 hits, 2 RBIs and a run. And he chops one down the line foul. greatest part of that was Brooks Conrad had no idea the ball was over the fence.
No, he thought he was caught. Thought that it was caught right there.
There was
his teammates coming out to celebrate. What?
Run! It's a grand slam. Brooks Conrad was one of the really good guys too.
That was just hilarious that day.
And both the Braves and Reds left town after the game. I'll never forget, we got to the airport and our bus pulled up next to our Delta charter. The Reds were parked by theirs, and Dusty Baker was in the front seat. Marty Brenneman, our Hall of Fame announcer, was in the second seat, and they were both just sitting in their seats looking down in stunned disbelief. An hour and a half after that game, thinking, how did that one get away? But it did. 0-2. This is a sometimes tough spot for a closer. Number one, Ziegler hasn't had many opportunities, but number two, this isn't a closing save situation for him. Sometimes the closer stuff is not as sharp.
It was 8-4 when he started warming up, and he was fully heated up when Rojas hit the home run to make it 9-4. And it's obvious that Don Mattingly said, he's up, he's warm, bringing him in, even though it's not a safe situation.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball center. That's going to get a run home, but it'll cost the Braves a precious second out. Acuna with a 3 RBI game gets credit for the sac fly. Flaherty scores to make it 9-5. So the Braves cash in the 1-out walk. And now Miami has to deal with Freeman. Hopefully Markakis too. Freddie's 2 for 4 with an RBI hit. Braves and Phillies tomorrow night. Nick Pivetta, Mike Foltynewicz. First pitch 7:05. We will join you with Braves Live. The Braves look like they will stay in first place, barring a huge comeback by the Phillies, who are trailing 5-1. Aaron Nola started that game in St. Louis. Dodgers all over Washington 7-2. The Mets won 4-1 over Arizona. Mets with a 3-game sweep.
They could climb over Washington.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Freddie and the Braves down to their last swing here. Next 13 games for Atlanta versus the Phillies, Red Sox, Mets, and Nationals. We know how good the Braves have been against the really good teams. We hope that will continue at Citizens Bank Park tomorrow.
And their good road work.
Yeah, that'll be a clash of titans. The Braves 17-8 on the road. Phillies 16-6 at home. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just a bit inside. Ziegler wanted it. Way up and away, full count.
Tip of the cap to Ryan Flaherty this inning. He's been sitting on the bench for a few days, hasn't had many opportunities. Bottom of the ninth, hey, get an at bat against Ziegler. And instead of phoning it in, he worked a walk and got this all started. So nice going.
Too close to take, and Freddie bangs that right toward his manager, Brian Snitker, who spun out of the way. Albies at second, 3-2 pitch. Freddie hits it to the right side. Nice play, Rojas. Race to the bag. It's out of reach of Ziegler. He got stepped on, and Ozzie will come around and score the 6th Atlanta run. Freddie puts it in play. The game is still alive, and the Braves are down only 3 now. And let's see how healthy Ziegler is.
Those add-on runs, boy. That didn't look like that bad a feed. He just whiffed on it.
Oh, he didn't get stepped on. And Freeman's ankle turned as he got to the first base bag.
Ziegler had a good enough toss from Rojas. He should have caught it.
So it's a 9-6 game, and Ziegler has to throw a few more pitches here. Freddie takes off. Ball 1.
Oh boy, he sure did roll it.
So the Braves with 4 more runs from the 7th inning tonight or today, giving them 84 for the year. And sliced down the line, foul into the alleyway. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves need another base runner to bring the potential tying run to the plate. Freeman credited with an infield hit, has a 3-hit game. No RBI. The error accounted for Albies scoring. So Nick and the Braves again down to their final strike. Nick had a marvelous 6th inning at bat against Chen before singling home the 2nd Braves run.
Got to go in protect mode here.
And again, that's what makes him so tough right now. Lefties don't bother him. Righties don't bother him. As you said, Joe, he has such great strike zone vision right now. He is not swinging too often at pitches off the plate.
I don't know if Real Muto was hopping out from behind the plate because he thought the game was over or just to be in a good defensive posture. I thought that ball was well off the plate.
The 2-2. Up the middle, base hit. Freddie's going to score. And the Braves, believe it or not, bring the tying run to the plate. Incredible. And how much does Ziegler have left in the tank?
Left it up. He got a ground ball. That's his stock and trade. He wants ground balls, but there have been several hit this inning. Just found the right hole. Mattingly's going to take him out.
I didn't see anybody throwing down there, but apparently somebody is getting ready. And Ziegler will depart with 3 runs in. Markakis aboard, and Tyler Flowers coming up as the scheduled hitter. 9-7 in the 9th. Braves Live presented by Xfinity. We'll find out next. Atlanta's making a great bid. Down 9-7 here in the 9th inning. They're down to their last 2 outs. AT ATL started the game. It was Julio for Atlanta. The Marlins are hoping their Tehran will end it right here in the bottom of the 9th.
Check out the innings. Check out the strikeouts. Tehran Guerrero can bring it. He's upper 90s fastball and slider. He'll be trying to come in and blow Tyler Flowers away.
This man throws downhill. 6'7", 214 pounds. And like Julio, is a native of Colombia. Julio's from Cartagena. Tehran Guerrero from Boca Chica. If Flowers can reach, Kurt Suzuki would hit for the pitcher. 9-7. Braves have 1 out left. And Markakis takes off as that pitch is way high.
The advantage this gives the Braves offensively when Ozzie, Freddie, and Markakis have now gone to second base uncontested is it just makes it harder on the defense. They've got to go to first base more than likely for an out. No force play at second.
And here's what else Don Mattingly doesn't know. Tehran Guerrero before this season had pitched in exactly 1 big league game. He throws hard, but he's never had a chance to save a game.
Yeah, these are not spots that he's accustomed to.
2 balls, no strikes. Another base runner would bring the winning run to the plate. Remember, it was 8 years ago today the Braves faced the impossible dream. They scored 6 9th inning runs to beat the Reds 10-9. If the Braves can score 6 in the 9th today, they'd win 10-9. And Flowers has been very patient, ahead in the count, 3-0. Made him throw a strike, and he did.
At 98. 3-0 count, needed to throw a strike, and it's easy gas.
Do you make him throw another one here?
No, I'm hacking away. This is my pitch right here. Looking for that fastball wherever Tyler likes it and try to get on top of it.
Won't matter. Ball 4, and the Braves have a chance to win it with 1 swing of the bat. And Kurt Suzuki is going to be that hitter. And if we've said it once, we've said it 100 times. 98 doesn't bother this guy a bit.
He's the last position player left on the bench for Brian Snitker. But with this pitcher, you got to like the matchup. What Chip just said.
Two on, 2 out. Can the Braves pull off a miraculous comeback? Suzuki, the man of the hour. And Guerrero ready with his first. Line drive, a base hit. Markakis will be waved. It's a 1-run game.
Like we said, this guy can hit a fastball. He can hit your fastball, his fastball. It doesn't matter. Bang. First pitch. On time, right off the bench.
So Juan Nieves is going to come out and talk to Guerrero here with Camargo coming up. You've got Kurt Suzuki in the game. Do you pinch run for Flowers here in the event of a base hit to try to get it tied and worry about it?
Certainly a consideration.
But as you said, there's no position players left.
There aren't. To go back to why the Braves kept pushing those guys up to second base, they kept picking up hits and RBIs as a result instead of going first to third.
So Flowers represents the tying run. Suzuki represents the winning run. Camargo is in the batter's box. And a big conference right at the top step of the dugout, trying to decide how to play this here from a base running standpoint for the Braves.
Yeah, Snit and his staff were going over the lineup and his scorecard to see what they might be able to do.
Well, the man that has the best arm is Anderson in right field, I would think. As Camargo digs in and takes high. Ball one.
They were playing deep to prevent a double. Now they have to come in, the outfielders. Brinson has a good arm too. We've seen that, but it was a little erratic.
1 ball, no strikes. More action in the pen for the Marlins. And that one all the way to the backstop. High ricochet back to the mound. And now a single could win the game.
Wow. Where was that ricochet when Camargo was running the other night?
Well, he's hitting, so he's even.
We'll get it back.
Right.
Another one of those ties it.
How about a base hit down the right field line? And let's head to Philadelphia. Ecstatic. 2-0 count. Ball 3.
I'm not sure why they're even pitching to him. You know, his run doesn't mean anything. He's a switch hitter batting left-handed, but Swanson's on deck, a right-handed hitter. I guess he doesn't trust him to be able to throw enough strikes.
Taking here, I would think.
Yes.
Not close. 2 walks and a single, and the Braves have him loaded. And now it's Dansby Swanson's turn. And I would assume, Joe, he has the luxury in this spot of taking a pitch or two to see if Guerrero can find the zone. A walk means a run.
I would. I wouldn't be in any hurry. And that's not being defensive. That's just trying to be smart to see if this guy can throw it over the plate. He threw one over the plate to Suzuki that got ripped. Everything else has been wide.
Dansby is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. You know he'd like to make his return to the lineup a game-winning one right here.
And because of that, he's got to exercise a little patience. He's got to look for a good pitch from this hard thrower who's not throwing the ball over the plate. And not just be excited about the moment.
Guerrero out of the stretch. His first. Fly ball foul. Strike 1. At 97 miles an hour. The Braves have 4 ninth-inning runs to make it a 9-8 game. They can win this one, and if the Cardinals can hang on at home over the Phillies, it could be a game-and-a-half lead in the East. No balls and a strike. Ball 1. All this started with 1 out. Flaherty with, as you said, Joe, a big league base on balls. Albies a single. Acuna a sac fly. Freeman and Markakis base hits. Remember, they had the 3rd out at first. Ziegler couldn't handle the throw. And then the floodgates have opened. Pitch. A little late. At 98, his best pitch since coming in.
And out of the zone. Talked about him earlier today about how maybe the toughest adjustment to get reoriented to is a hard thrower. Getting that timing back.
I'd be shocked if they threw him anything but a big fastball here. A ball and 2 strikes. Almost hit him. Whew, that was close.
that was not a situation where you say, well, we'll take one for the team. You tie it up.
But that might set up that outside corner. And when Dansby was going good, that was right in his wheelhouse.
Got some room on the right side.
The 2-2 pitch. Fought it off. Too close to take, and he got enough to stay alive.
Well, it's understandable to hack at that one when you've already got 2 strikes on you. The one before was a little bit too far to reach for. Good job there to stay alive.
All the runs in this inning are Brad Ziegler's. The base runners belong to Guerrero. Flowers the tying run. Enciarte the winning run at second. And now a 2-2 pitch with 2 outs for Dansby Swanson is on the way. Good at bat.
99 off the plate, and he still got a piece of it.
With every passing pitch, Dansby, you figure, is getting a better look.
The runs that mean something. The runners are both catchers.
They've shortened up in right. Brinson creeping in center. Shuck way back in left. They don't think Dansby can pull him. The 2-2 pitch. Line drive! It is fair! And the Braves walk off 10-9!
Conrad is, but he's smiling. Up and in, turned on it, and Dansby wasn't even to first base, and he was already waving his teammates out. That was unbelievable.
8 years to the day. Atlanta scores 6 in the 9th inning and stuns an opponent, winning on their home turf 10-9. Brooks Conrad had the run of his life. Today, Dansby's running for his life. And the Atlanta Braves somehow, some way, win this series against the Marlins. They have, for the moment, a 1-game lead, and all of a sudden, Joe, a ton of momentum. As once again, this ball club under Brian Snitker did not say die, scoring 8 runs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings to stun Miami. Incredible.
They got 3 hits. They got 4 hits and 2 walks after 2 were out.
What a day. And what a welcome back for Dansby Swanson, who's got to catch his breath as Atlanta will head to Philadelphia with a 28-17 record. Dansby's got to cool off. And this ballpark roaring a moment ago, I think, Joe, is absolutely stunned like the rest of us.
Well, for you folks that went home, I'm sorry. You missed the greatest comeback in SunTrust Park history and one of the greatest in Atlanta history.
And the man at the center of the attention, Dansby Swanson, who's standing by with Kelsey.
Dansby, wow, take a breath. Alrighty, you go into that at bat. You have a guy who's having a hard time throwing strikes. You know, a walk can tie it up. Are you going into that at bat a little bit more patient, or what is your mindset?
Same as every other at bat. Biggest focus in those kind of situations, just breathe, relax. The adrenaline and everything will come. You know, if you just do your part and relax and stay with your plan, you got a good chance to succeed. So try to breathe a little bit extra that one.
You know, you take so much pride in your game and what you're able to do. You come into that at bat 0 for 4 on the day. How much better does that make it feel when you can come through in your team in that way? A 6-run 9th inning for you guys.
Happy flight. That's really the first thing is has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with everybody else. And without everyone else, we wouldn't even be in that position anyways. And I can't say enough about how much I love these guys, and they're like family to me. You know, we talked about that, and they're always there for me. I'm always there for them, and just to be able to do that right there is incredible.
Every win is important. Every series win is important. But to be able to win in this kind of fashion and have this momentum to go on the road trip, you guys are about to go on a very important one. What does this do for you guys?
Obviously, it puts us, right where we need to be. Every win's a good win, and this one just happened to be a walk-off. So we're just going to keep rolling, and like we talk about every day, we're going to come out tomorrow and do what we do, go how we go about business, and hope for success. So.
Dansby, congratulations. That was so much fun to watch. Go get some water and go celebrate with your team. Chip and Joe will get it back up to you guys. The man of the hour.
Okay, Kelsey, thanks. He's right, Joe. Happy flight. A remarkable repeat of history here in Atlanta. That's our Coors Light refreshing finish. The Braves left for dead in the 9th inning, score 6 runs to stun Miami, take 2 out of 3 in the series, and have what turns out to be a very successful homestand. Wow.
Unbelievable. A walk got it started. 2-out, a 1-out walk. Unbelievable how this happened.
Plenty to talk about on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Atlanta wins it, believe it or not, 10-9. That's your final.